Right, so the mic is rolling. Okay. This will be episode 2 of the Uncle Ken Show. Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. Today we're joined by Rodney Raffa from Hoodrat DC.
G'day, Ken.
G'day, Rodney.
How are you, mate?
I'm doing all right. I've had better days, but it's a great day being with you, being with Errol. It's awesome to be part of the team.
You're too good.
Yeah, maybe I'm just being too nice. All right, let's get back to business. So let's just start with a quick drum roll and explain exactly what is Hoodrat, Rodney?
Okay, so that's evolved over the time.
Yeah.
Hoodrat initially started out as an idea to build the drifting / entry-level drifting automotive support network for Perth. Then it merged to getting more people off the street and into legal areas because it's a major issue currently. Yeah. The beginning of it was a group of mates working on cars in our garages over the years, like helping each other out to do whatever, really. You know, you got too far deep into pulling something off your car and you didn't know what you were doing. Yeah. You'd call up a mate who knew. Nice. Or who could figure it out. And most of the time, it's just all of us figuring it out together. Yeah.
And was this a group chat? Was this a school group or what?
No, this is just over the years of like going out when you buy your first car. You go out and find, maybe Facebook groups, bits and pieces. And you just talk to people at these events and you go, oh, yeah, I click with this one. Yeah. Or I click with this one or whatnot. Yeah. Then eventually some of us merged into motorsport or drifting or any kind, you know. There were street events, bits and pieces. Then I got a workshop, started working on my own cars and mates' cars and modifying them, exhausts and intake and random shit, just depends on what you're interested in.
Is that the place we all know and love, or is this before that
No,
story?
This was before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I used to function out of DIY Garage.
Oh, really?
For a fair amount of time.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Jamie back when he had his first store down the alleyway in Malaga. A few of the OGs will know that store and the stories of that store. But, you know, I'd definitely spent a fair few nights there. Yeah. Working on cars and falling asleep on the couch, getting too tired, fixing them in the morning to go home or go to work.
I see.
There's a fair amount of that.
Yeah. And just for the viewers that are watching, this is more of a personal one-on-one with Rodney. If you do want to have a look at the conversation where we had as part of the team, where we had Ariel Jade from Project 305, we had a nice little discussion. You can go ahead and watch that podcast or video.
There'll be a link somewhere for that one.
Try put it in the description if the viewers are that attentive. But fingers crossed. So you've kind of explained what Hoodrat is and what it's about and kind of where it's evolved to, a little bit of your background and your history. I don't want to be looking at the clock today. I just want to make sure this is a little bit about Rodney, just so we can make sure that your audience gets to know yourself. So lately, Rodney, when I've gotten to know you a bit better, which has been awesome, what I've noticed is where you've started at the start of the year versus where you are now, two very different places. There is no ups or downs. There is basically a person who's grown into someone with a lot more experience, understands life and the way the carriage works. So would you say that at the moment, no worries, would you say at the moment with Hoodrat, you have further ambitions, and where would you like to take Hoodrat?
So, big picture, which is controversial to some people, is Hoonigan Down Under.
Nice.
Realistically, there's not that big of a scene for cars as big as the US, but that's as well because Australia is a much smaller place, a lot smaller of a population. Yep. Doesn't change the fact that we all love cars and we all love getting down and partying with them, you know, doing skids, doing drifting, etc. Yep. And showing them off, you know, showing off in front of your mates and everything like that. Yep. We all love watching the videos and bits and pieces. So it's kind of bringing that culture to Perth and to the community.
Yeah. I don't think I can say there's many people of your caliber in the car industry right now, specifically for Perth, WA, who's had as big a social media presence, if not being able to impact and share a message that you're actually out here having a fun time, doing it legally, doing skids, which is blah, 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 you know what I mean? And I don't think there's too many people out there like that in WA. I think you're probably one of the more prominent ones, would you say?
I'd definitely agree in a way. It might be because I'm very loud about what I'm doing. There might be some that are quieter in their communities and whatnot, but I like to use social media the way that it's meant to be used.
Yeah, I think your voice is important as well. So if that's not being broadcasted, then for what reasons are you doing it? For selfish means? I don't think so.
No, I've thought that as well at points, and then realized, why would I dump thousands of dollars into events and supporting other people if I didn't really enjoy it?
Yeah, and especially if you receive no gain, then it's just very philanthropic, but not everyone's in that position where they can do that financially, right?
Yeah, realistically, I'm not either.
Yeah.
But it's just something that I do because I'm trying to bring in something new for people.
Yeah. Something that I quite like about you, Rodney, is when we've gotten to know each other on a more personal level, we all have different life philosophies. So could you say anything about yours or a way that you perceive of your life?
One of mine that kept me going for a very long while, which is actually one of my tattoos, it's basically shit happens, send it anyway.
What's the symbols for that?
So shit happens as in a check engine light.
Okay.
And send it anyway, classic chakras.
Chakras. How wide can you get your chakras?
Oh, at least 6 inches.
Can we have an alpha contest right now? Who's got the biggest chakra? Oh, we're on par. Okay, we're going to have to revisit that another time. But
Get
life
my flexibility up a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I think another aspect of you, which is quite prominent, is that you live life in a very, how do I say, continuous frame, never giving up. And I definitely believe there's a little bit of a spiritual aspect to that. Not here trying to convert anyone into a way of belief, but there's certain things about you which I definitely believe which will carry you further than someone with no faith at all.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'd say with a lot of the experiences that I've had in life, I'm only 25 now, but I've dealt with a lot of shit, as people say.
Definitely.
And at ages where, most people shouldn't, in quotes, deal with. But I have a philosophy that basically what shows up in your life and what is given to you to deal with is what you are able to deal with. So as shit as it might be in the moment, figure it out because you can. You're sort of the only person to do it.
You've told me some, I wouldn't say horrific, but quite deep stories about yourself. I'm not sure if you're open to sharing on air. But some of the things that you mentioned was your upbringing, your relationship with your mum, a few things with your family, and some of that's motivated you to where you are today as far as Hoodrat.
Definitely.
Care to share?
Yeah. So there is sort of a memory blank stage. It's either around 18, 19, where my mum actually passed away from cancer. Brought up as a single child, and before that, she had a disease called myasthenia gravis, which is still relatively of an unknown disease. There's no cure or anything, but basically your body attacks itself. Your immune system, when it functions, stops your nervous system from sending the correct signals. So when it was bad, I'd be in school getting a phone call of being like, oh yeah, mum's in ER again. Because she can't breathe. And it's like, oh, she needs to go in for treatment again.
So that's a little bit about your family background and where you are today. Rodney, I'll probably say out of all the people I've spoken to on a more personal, deep level, you definitely have a bit of a rough and disadvantaged upbringing, but I don't see that pushing you from a perspective of what you're able to achieve in the car industry.
I definitely try to, it's more of a fuel really for everything. I could go the other way and be a degenerate
Yep.
and have it be the story of why my life is shit.
Yep.
But why would I do that?
Yeah. So for all the degenerates out there, please look to this guy as a role model, an example of someone who's pulled through it. And Rodney, you can certainly pull through it. I know that.
Thanks, mate.
No worries. So we're going to get onto something that Errol's mentioned, and that's got to do with a red car, is it? Or
yeah. So with Hoodrat, and especially the first event and whatnot, financially, kind of a pretty big thing to set up, organize, flights for a bunch of drivers to come over and over east and whatnot.
Okay.
And one of the things that I did for that to support the community and the event was actually sell my mum's first car.
Oh, wow. That was after her passing, right?
Yeah. So she'd kept it, 20 plus odd years parked up. And I realized I'm not going to do anything with this for now. And what I'm doing now feels a stronger connection to what I want.
Yeah.
And more the support that I can give. And someone else can enjoy this car.
Yeah.
And if eventually, if I feel like it, it's not going to be one that disappears. Yeah. It's a galvanized mini moke. They don't rust.
Oh, yeah.
They just, they're a collector's item. I'll be able to find it one day.
Yeah.
But
very sentimental and emotional type of.
Definitely. Yeah. At the same time as, I don't think that she'd want me sitting on something that can help
push you forward.
Correct.
Yeah. That's deep, man. And bringing it a whole nother level. I'm sure the audience will understand that, but also see how passionate and invested you are in Hoodrat DC. I want to make sure I can do everything in my power to make this a success. I'm sure there's many other people out there who can, Errol included. I think sharing your story is one of the most important things when it comes to your business, your passions, and where you're going. And I think something that really resonated with you when I first met you was at the Project 305 event launch party. That was hosted in Leaderville. That was an awesome event, Errol. You got to host another one of those. I'm waiting for it.
I'm very sad that I did miss that because I was stuck into setting up.
I think you were there. Or maybe it's another one.
Oh,
yeah,
right. Yes, that one. I was there. Yeah. That was great.
Yeah, I brought an old friend of there, Ben Sue. I brought him there. Who else? Not too many other people, I don't think. I think it was just me and him. And on the way there, someone threw a shot glass with a piece of ice in it at my car window. And that's just Perth, I guess. It's just weird people.
Degenerates.
Don't want to say that word, but yes. Definitely. So one of the things that really impacted me, and it was more of a personal advice that you gave to me that night when I first met you. We had a chat outside. I think Hayden had the Beamer and it was just revving it to red line, just annoying everyone in Leaderville. Yep. One of the things that you mentioned to me was your career and your work experience for a long time. And this is something that your audience, my audience, will definitely take a lot of value out, is wherever you're going in life, there is something that you said to me, and it had something to do with you did a lot of what your mum or your dad wanted. Listen to people. And then you started carving out your own path. Can you tell me a bit more about that and share that in a nutshell example?
So growing up, I'd basically been a tinkerer my whole life, tinkering with bikes and scooters and then moving on to dirt bikes and eventually cars and whatnot. As well, I liked video games as most kids. And the career path that I was set by my parents and guardians was IT, because you play computer games and you're good with computers, so that's probably what you should do.
Yep.
But I never really enjoyed it. I did it to please them. And eventually, especially after my mum's passing, I realized, hang on a minute, this is actually making me unhappy. Now, that's not what she would have wanted. And more so depressed, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, I got to the stage where I went, no, I always wanted to be a mechanic or work with my hands and whatnot, but I was never allowed to because it doesn't make the money and whatnot were the sayings.
Yeah.
In reality, anything that you are actually passionate about can make you money.
Mm.
So you should probably just go for it.
Yeah.
And eventually, 3 to 5 years down the track, if you figure out that it doesn't work, go and get a stable job.
Yeah.
But, I'd been in IT for 7 years.
Yep.
Through TAFE and then work placements and whatnot, and got to the stage where I couldn't really progress any further without, a lot more study that I didn't want to do.
Investment in something which you didn't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where you took the pivotal turn. I won't wrap it up too fast, but you took that pivotal turn and you're like, let's cut the advice from people. Let me choose my heart and my own vocation.
Mm.
And you kind of listened to your soul because you needed to figure out what was making you happy.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I think you're definitely on the right path with that. Like anything in life, it comes to that Venn diagram of the ikigai stuff. What does the world need? What can I make money? That type of stuff.
I love that saying.
It's really good. But at the same time, we also got to be quite realistic and understand that this is a very capitalist system. So we have to figure out some way to play the game and make sure we prosper out of it. Otherwise, what we're trying to achieve may not always get there. So I really want to make sure we can do whatever we can in our power to help you. I'm sure the network of Uncle Ken's as well as Ariel and whoever you surround yourselves will, I really want you to make sure that you know those people are there for you.
Thank you.
No worries. So we're wrapping a little close in time. I'd probably say we've got around 5 minutes, and I hate to be the time Nazi.
You are the time guy.
I am the time guy, only because we have this place for a certain amount of time.
Until we have our own podcast studio.
That's it. That's what we're looking for. So anything apart from that, I think we've covered quite a lot of it. But there is so much more that we can cover another time. Let's take this back to cars, because for the whole of tonight, we've had a good chat about who we are, where we're going, and what we do. But we love cars, right? That's why we're in this industry.
That's why we're here. That's
I'll bring
why
this
we're
to
doing
you too,
what we're
Ariel.
doing.
So tell me a bit about your relationship with your cars. What's your favorite car, or what's your favorite make and model?
The car that I regret selling the most was my R32 Skyline.
You had one?
Yes.
Nice.
Actually relates back to the mum story because I sold that car to fix it for her so she could drive it before she died. So it's not really a regret, but probably one of the cars that I definitely want to have again.
Nice.
After I lost track at 50 cars. I stopped caring and I stopped counting when it got to 50.
Jesus.
And that kind of rolls into my ADHD as well, an instant dopamine hit of like, I'm going to buy this one now because I'm bored of this one.
I've only had one in my life, so.
I don't wish to know what that feels like at the same time.
I see.
Yeah, because cars are spicy, you know. Yeah. The eventual thing is like, have one for each day of the week.
Play the game a bit too safe.
Yeah.
So what would be your dream car?
Dream car I still haven't picked yet because it probably wouldn't be something that I'd buy. It would be something that I'd build. And I haven't found what that is. Yeah.
I think our last conversation we left off with where you want to spearhead Hoodrat DC. And I think I'm allowed to share a little bit of this, but Hoodrat DC was intentionally made for you so you could learn a bit more drifting or get a bit more professional, right?
So, basically, right at the beginning, my initial thoughts of it. So what I want to do is go into the pro drift scene, mainly, Formula Drift competitions and whatnot.
Yep.
And in doing that on a normal, say, apprentice wage, it's not really that smart of an idea, and I've tried it for long enough.
Yep.
You don't really get that far in repairs, tires, etc., building the cars and whatnot. So the thoughts were, well, how do I build a support network that can, one, support me, and then for two, support other people who also want to do the same thing or similar. Whether it's sponsorship for tires or in just in general help and support building the cars or mentorship, whatnot.
Yeah. I think that's really where the network needs to know your objectives and where they can help you out. So expressing things like that will not only show people through the Uncle Ken's network, it'll help people understand exactly what you're looking for as far as sponsorships. So we want to see how far we can carry you. I think it's very possible that you can achieve a lot. You can partner with a lot of people in Perth. Ariel's already got a massive network, like we know. So we might as well leave it on that, Rodney. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. If there's anything else that you want to express, any events, any people you want to shout out, feel free to. Now's your time.
Oh, the main thing is, so the events are for the people that I organise, and what we're hunting for is private properties.
I see.
That have car park areas or concrete pads, etc., for the public shows to organise. That's the next step. Once I find one of those, then we start going through the paperwork.
So your pitch at the moment and what we're all trying to work towards, but you're going to be spearheading it, something that you're going to be responsible for, is a private property that you would like a business owner to allow
Correct.
your initiatives.
Yeah.
Would that be on a rental basis per year or for a certain amount of time? Does it matter as far as financial means?
Depends on the owner. So realistically, with our first spot, that's all been self-funded by me.
Yep.
You know, for the event, for the rent, for the insurance, etc. And that's how I still currently look at it, is whatever next spot, if there's, you know, rental fees and whatnot, I'm prepared to pay that.
Okay.
Realistically, it would be more of a event by event basis that I'm looking at. So probably a 1-2 time thing, depending on the council regulations, depending on the neighbourhood, depending on how close it is to residents, etc.
Yeah.
There's a few things to work on, but the main thing is I've got to find those business owners or property owners that are like the one that I currently deal with, where they will allow us to host our events and host our content creation and host our community engagement.
I'm sure we can make that happen. And that's the only way it's going to be able to grow.
Yeah,
Other
definitely.
initiatives, social media, chuck these guys a follow, or chuck Rodney and his team a follow.
It's just at Hoodrat DC, and that's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Even his personal at Hood Raffa.
Oh, yeah, it's at Hood Raffa.
Awesome. All right, we'll leave it with that. Thanks so much, Rodney. Handshake. Cheers, mate.
You are more than welcome, Ken. Until next time.
Until next time.
Already? I feel like there's enough time, Jesus.
There's never enough time.
There's so much.
There is so much we could talk about.
Shit.